that will help you to know the truth that will definitely set you free, especially if you're a melanated person, okay, and you're listening to me. This live is definitely going to help you to think more deeply concerning the Bible, which is actually a book of mind science. And it will help you to understand how it is basically an African book, but they make you believe that it is a European book. And they portray a figure of a European man, a Caucasian man, which is a damn lie. So that is what I would like to discuss with you, the lie, and how it doesn't make sense, and how it is all nonsense when you as a person, actual Caucasian man walking in a sandals on his feet and doing miracles. For example, if I was to ask people, especially melanated people, if they believe that the Bible is a magic book, they will say no, because they have a certain concept of magic. But if I ask them if it's a miracle book, they would believe that it is a book of miracles. Yet, none of their pastors and preachers and so-called prophets can perform any of these miracles. And the reason for that, it is because they fail to realize that this book is a book of mind science. And the real Messiah is not a white man, is not a Jewish man. As a matter of fact, that so-called Jewish nation is a make-up thing. It was 1948, they put that whole plan together of calling themselves a nation. They are fake. I know they are fake. How do I know that they are fake? Because the real Messiah appeared to me, had a conversation with me, and he looks just like me. And he was dressed in African clothing. He was just in a dashiki. And the feature of the man, it more favors that of an Ethiopian. So I know what I'm speaking about. So when I tell you that these people who portray themselves as the chosen people, they are basically saying that they are the ruler of this earth. But if you have any common sense, you'd see that the earth itself doesn't even look like them. It looks more like you. That is why whenever you look in the mirror, you are to see the image of the Savior and Messiah, because you're the one who have to save yourself. You are the one who have to redeem yourself. And so, if you believe that there is a Jewish Messiah that is coming to save you, and you believe that it really makes sense, you will definitely live a nonsensical life on this planet. That is why most of our people, they are living a delusional and nonsensical life that is not bringing forth. They are living a life of lack and scarcity while living in a continent that has everything that this world needs for abundance, prosperity, and the advancement of science and technology. You see, in the West, They have always have an agenda to show you Africa from an angle of poverty when Africa is the richest continent on the planet. That is why they give you an image of a white man when the stories are parables that represents the mind that is written in that book have to do with melanated people, the people of the sun. It have nothing to do with any Caucasian person. As a matter of fact, you can see fragments of our spiritual science throughout the entire Caribbean islands and all the other places around the world where black people were brought through slavery, and those who are already there also. We have always been like the indigenous people of all the different islands, and they spread lies to tell you that many of you were brought from Africa, but many of us was already here. Okay? Our ancestors have always been a very wise and intelligent people. And even just recently, we see the last kingdom, which is the Ethiopian kingdom. And we see the last emperor from that kingdom and how they try to colonize and they try to take over that empire. But they lost the fight. Mussolini lost the fight. And even the battle at Adwa, they lost that battle too. And then the Caucasian come up with their own story of Troy. You know, and they have a movie with Troy and show you no one couldn't penetrate Troy, and they use a idol, okay, because the people used to worship, okay, they were worshippers. But basically, it's your story, but it's hidden. That's why they give you the fake Jesus story and the fake Mary story, and everything they show you, it appears to you to look Caucasian. They will show you Cleopatra. They will show you Lucy. For example, there was a movie named Lucy, and it goes back to the oldest human remain that they ever found. And they found that old, over what? Over 300,000, I think, year old remain in Ethiopia. And they show a movie and show you a white woman and call she Lucy. I really laugh because you see, my brother, my sisters, when your spiritual eye is open and you can see, you know the truth, okay, and when you know the truth is what will definitely set you free. That is why there can never be any Caucasian savior or messiah coming to save you. For example, right now as I'm speaking to you, the churches are filled with melanated people who are still dwelling in their monkey mind, the chattering mind, and they never learn to calm down their mind. They never learn to relax. They never learn to think. They keep them busy, chasing after money, and fail to realize that they're born in this world rich already, and that they're born with all of their mental faculties. And if they only use these mental faculties, the way will be shown to them. So, my brother, my sisters, the idol or the portrait that they will show you and tell you that the Messiah is Jewish is a lie. I know that it is a lie. Okay? This is not something that based on belief. This is something that I know as a fact. And so all of the slave masters and their plantations. If you study and look deeply, you would see that it will point you back to these Caucasian people who call themselves Jews. And I would never be afraid to mention them and expose them, because I'm not looking for fame and popularity and views and selling my soul like some would do. Okay? All my life, I live. If anyone would have told me that these people who call themselves Jews and who call themselves chosen, if anyone would have told me that these people were the ones who were behind the whole slave trade, I would have doubted them. If anyone would have told me that secular Christianity that is pointing to look outwardly is what is trapping you in mental slavery, if anyone would have told me that Christianity, as in secular Christianity I'm speaking about, right, where they're interpreting the Bible to you as literal, okay, and having you looking outwardly, if anyone would have told me that that is how you're worshiping the devil, which is your lower self, I would have doubted them. If anyone would have told me that when you call on white Jesus, pale Jesus, this so-called Jewish Jesus, that you're in idolatry, I would have doubted them. If anyone would have told me that I'm speaking a curse over my life whenever I call on this Jesus or this idol that was given to melanated people to believe in and to worship, I would have doubted them. But I am telling you, and I will never stop speaking these things because I don't care, because I do not depend on a paycheck from YouTube. Okay? I don't care how much ban they ban, and even if they delete the channel, I don't care. You understand? You see, because I know I already rich, I have everything already. But I will never sit and lie to melanated people. I will never do that. I am telling the honest truth. When I was 17 years of age, I was given the coat of many colors, which is basically the rainbow. And that's the color you see that they normally have as the flag of Ethiopia and so on. I was given that as a halo. That when I was 17 years of age. Then when I was 30 years of age, a black man walked from the fire that doesn't consume, the burning bush that doesn't consume, and spoke to me in another language. But I could have understand everything that he was saying, because I realized that the commission that was given to Moses was the same commission that was given to me. And Moses mean to be born. I had to be taken out of the water. I realized that my mother water back had to burst before I could come here and have this experience, this exodus. I realized that my mother Red Sea had to stop too. I realized that my body is a slave to my mind. I realized that most of the earth is water and most of the body is water. And when you're in your mother's womb, that's the basket that's surrounded by water. I realized that Pharaoh represents all of the thoughts that governs your life. That's the king that rule over you, King Pharaoh, the thoughts that you go back to. That is why from a very young age, they make sure they infiltrate your subconscious mind to believe a certain way. It's when I become more aware, I realize that these fake Jews are behind the whole school system. They're behind what they call the syllabus and the curriculum. And they set it up in all the different islands that they colonized. And they have certain islands that they set up their headquarters. I realized they set up, that's why they're behind the whole system of NATO, which if you go back to all the different islands that they colonized, if you check out the first commissioner of police in those islands, It was always a white man. Okay, it was always a pale man. That's a system that they set up. So, and then they set up other systems from since you small, like the Boy Scout system. These were Jewish people setting up all of these things from ever since, Okay, the Boy Scout, the Girls Guide, all of these little systems they set up to give you a military mind, And so I realized how dark these people are. These people behind every war. These people behind the overthrowing of every government in any country that they can't rule the presidents or the prime ministers as their little puppets. These are the people who know how to take all of the wealth out of Africa while keeping the people blind with many preachers who are fake preachers, false prophets. And when I say false, I'm speaking from my sense of sight, insight, okay? Because to some people it will be false, okay? And they're not wrong either, okay? Because in another teaching, I'm going to show you out of the darkness comes the light. And I'm going to teach you also how the Bible is basically a book of lies. And when you understand that it is a book of lies, that's when you would really start to overcome. Because out of the lie, I'm going to show you how to create the truth out of the lie. Okay? I'm going to do that on my next live when I finish this one here on my next channel. Okay? So my brother, my sisters, I am telling you, because the people believe that this pale man or this idol that was given to them is the truth, they end up living a lie. When you realize the lie, okay, then your eye will start to open. Your non-physical eye will start to open because you start to become more conscious. You start to become more aware. And you will see these fake rabbis, these people calling themselves rabbi, they're not real rabbi. Okay, a rabbi, a true rabbi would be initiated. And when he's been initiated, he would be initiated in the wall of truth, which is the wall of the invisible, which is the wall of consciousness. It is not by going to a seminary or study certain book and so on. Everything they do is basically a copy of something that is already in your DNA. So they try to carry their beards a certain way. They try to carry their mustache a certain way. They wear these hats. They try to carry this lock to represent the hero lock and so on. They try to do all of these things because they're living a lie. A stolen identity. I know it. I mean, my brother, my sisters, look. I do not know how to explain this thing to you because it's something you have to come to realize for yourself. I mean, until you realize that what they call Israel is the unholy land, you have to realize it. It's not something come by knowledge. It's something you have to realize. You see, most people get checked and they're thinking that the Vatican. No, it's not the Vatican. It's right there. It's not fake Israel. These murderers, these pedophiles, these are the people who are behind all the governments of the world. people normally talk about the back of the beast and the mark of the beast and everything they right before them and they can't see. These are the people who have you speaking the things that you're speaking as a melanated person, as your belief system. They are actual vampires feeding off of your fears, your doubt, your guilt, your shame, while they move around the world and conquer. Many people think it is Trump that is out to get Maduro. It is not Trump that is out to get Maduro. It's Israel. That's their nature. That is why they interpret the Bible to the masses a certain way. Because when you believe that there was an ancient Israel and you believe that time is real when time is basically an illusion and there's only now, you will see like the same history repeating itself and you will never really understand what is going on. So you would think that the history of America is the history of Israel, because I know pastors who preach that and show you that how just as the Israelites will go and take over people's land and destroy the people and so on, is the same thing what the Americans do to the Indians and so on, and these kind of beliefs that he had. It is because of what was passed down to him from preachers who are also brainwashed. From since the plantation system, they brainwashed them that way. So my brother, my sisters, you can't have a Jewish savior. Don't make nobody fool you as a melanated person. I'm speaking to melanated people. It doesn't make any sense. How could you as a melanated person have a Jewish Messiah? Bring your umbrella. Bring your umbrella to give me a shelter. Just give me a moment, people. Rain coming, and I don't want to move from here. Bring the umbrella. Let me get a shelter here. Yeah. Come. Yeah, shelter.
I'm going back, so I have a
You get shelter down there? Okay. Yeah. How could you as a melanated person have someone coming to save you and deliver you and he doesn't look like you? It doesn't make no sense. It's all nonsense. Since I know myself growing up, I've heard preachers upon preachers upon preachers preach sermons referring to the people in Israel as the chosen people and saying how they reject their Messiah. And when the Messiah comes, that is when they would revive themselves as a collective. It's all nonsense. It's foolishness. Those are things that were taught to our people who were under a lot of trauma. And because of epigenetics, a lot of these trauma, these people, these melanated people who have this kind of belief, they're still traumatized from the ills of slavery and what was done to them. That's why they're still living in fear. Anyone who have eyes to see what happened with the genocide in Palestine, and now they're trying to focus on Venezuela because their rule is to divide and conquer. That's their code, divide and conquer. And they fed the world with a bunch of lies. So a lot of people normally refer to people like Einstein and make you believe that Einstein was more intelligent and more wiser than anyone else. And he had such and such an IQ. But I'm telling you, as a melanated person, it's only when the I that is in you awake, when your solar plexus is ignited, when the spark that is in you is ignited and you're awake, you have an IQ that is higher than any Einstein they could tell you about. Why do you think they hide all the black inventors from us? Why do you think the man in Haiti, the president, I always forgetting the first name, but Moise is one of his name, okay? They took him out because he wasn't going along with the pandemic, the big scamdemic. Who you think was behind that too? The same fake Jews. Because why? They wanted to widen the gap between the rich and the poor. And that is why people who believe, thank you, people who believe that these people have a mighty army and weapon of mass destruction and so on, they've been foolish. The greatest battle that would ever be fought is in your mind. That's why they are using a different kind of weapon to capture your mind, to believe in white Jesus, to believe in some pale man, and make you believe there's some Jewish man coming to save your black ass. Okay? And all of that is stupidity. And you have to get rid of that stupidity. So I'm here to tell anyone who's listening to me, if you believe in white Jesus, if you believe in this pale man that they give you to be a Messiah, you're being delusional. And it's all nonsense. And there's no way you could make sense of it. Do you realize, if you read the Bible, which is basically a book of mind science if you really understand it, okay? And you was to take it the way how they try to teach you, you realize that the first country mentioned in the Bible, in Genesis, as a matter of fact, right in Genesis chapter 2, was Ethiopia. It tells about the rivers that compass the land of Ethiopia. But if you really understand that these rivers you're talking about is in your mind, that run from the garden, it's basically your mind, and compass the land of Ethiopia, and you realize that Ethiopia is within, as it is without. And you really realize that Africa is within, as Africa is without. And you start to understand why lithium and all of these things they need to put in cell phone and all of the different things that they need to expand in science and technology. You can't go Israel and get it, the so-called Israel and get it. But you can go to Africa and get it. When you start to understand that, and you start to understand your DNA, and you start to watch around and you realize the earth that everything grows from, it looks just like you. And you start to understand that you are the most hated people, and you start to understand why you're the most hated people, why they're so jealous of you. So they're so jealous that they're gonna try to steal everything from you, even your own identity. They want to steal from you. When you start to understand these things, then you start to see the real devil, because you realize that the devil is your lower self, your lower mind. Then you start to see who keeping you in your lower mind. Then instead of you having hate towards them, you have understanding towards them, because you understand the law of opposite. So you understand they're playing their part, but you have to play your part. So what am I doing here? I'm playing my part. But they will say, oh, he's spreading hate. No, this is not hate. Don't make them fool you. So what they will do, they will even kill their own. To say, oh, he's been spreading hate. Like when they kill the guy Charlie Cook and that. They would even kill their own, sacrifice their own. To say, oh, he's spreading hate. It's not hate. You're spreading light. You're shining light. So when you start to expose this pale man, this pale idol, that'll give you keep your idolatry, so you can speak cause over your life. Remember, right? They understand law and order. Don't get tricked. So, for example, in the big scamdemic, they didn't put a gun to anybody's head. But what they did, they have the presidents, prime ministers, doctors, nurses, you name it. People all around the world to do their bidding. Okay? And so, like for example, in my country, there are people who lost their job because they didn't take the injection. They refused to take the injection. And that was the ultimatum they gave them. And who they used? Politicians. And then the preachers became dumb. The men and women who call themselves prophets and prophetess, they became dumb. Why? Because they've been given a fake Messiah. So it's a fake people with a fake Messiah, chicken melanated people. So melanated people can give them their power. So when you do not call yourself chosen, when you look in the mirror and you do not know that you are chosen, when you look in the mirror and you do not know that you are your own Messiah, when you look in the mirror and you realize that you're God having a human experience and that you could do all things. You know, when you realize that, you come on YouTube and sell out. And if they remove your channel, you go and beg. You know, among the people I see who go and beg and beg and beg. Oh, get back my channel, both black, white, pink, you name it. But when you are, like for example, let me show you something. I remember years ago, I watched a man on television exercising. His name was Gillard. Okay, he's a Jewish man too, you know, Gillard. Down in you exercising down in this place, Hawaii. And I look at that man and I say, I could do that. Okay. And when I decided to leave my job, because I always love to be fit and I always love fitness, I leave my job at the post office. Okay. And I decided I'm gonna do some fitness. I did some flyers. I wrote up some flyers. Because I'm going to show you how much people think, well, you need social media, and social media is it, and AI is it, and this going to run you one and around roll. No matter nobody fool you. If you go back to as far back as when there was a running man, or when he was riding horseback, these things can't go out. They will always walk. Don't make nobody fool you. Okay? Going back to the land and eating from the land and living half of the land would always be the most peaceful life you would ever live. Give a man 3 and 4 jets. Give him 3 and 4 yachts. How much of them he could sleep on? Could only sleep on one at a time. He built a house with 10 different toilets. He could only shit in one toilet at a time. Don't make them fool you, bro. So, yeah. So I take all of these posters and I do up these posters and I carry them around in the city. In the restaurants, all about, I just leave a poster. 2 weeks passed, nobody called. When was the 3rd week? Then the calls start to come in. I want to join your class. 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 I said, okay. Once I have at least 6 people, I'm going to start my exercise class. To cut a long story short, my exercise class was so filled with women. They couldn't hold. So when people think that you need social media and you need this and you need that to advertise, if you live in a country and you have a vehicle and you don't understand the art of advertisement, I have a printer at home. If you have a printer at home, bro, don't make nobody fool you. You see, people don't understand success. They make you think success is you driving a Lambo. They make you think success is you driving a Rolls Royce. They make you think success is you have a mansion with 20 rooms and you only could sleep in one. That's not success. Success is more than that. It's deeper than that, I should really say. Okay? Because when you understand how the mind works, and when you see the fake government that run this world, and you really behold the devil. And remember saying, the devil is a lower self, So when you see them who trying to keep in your lower self, catch what I say. Those who set up programs and systems to keep in your lower self, and who think they could reach out to you and offer you views and offer you so-called wealth, which is fake. Money, all these things fake. Okay? Then they could offer you that and they will accept it. I remember one man tell me, when one nigga or when one nigga will refuse, another one will take, and it's true. When they want to offer you these things and you tell them, go fuck themselves, you ain't accept them things because you know better. You know how rich you be? You know how successful you are? So my brother, my sisters, in short, I'm saying to you, you have to learn to believe in yourself. Don't believe in no Messiah coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to deliver yourself. And for my brother and my sisters who live in Africa, it is time for you to wake up and realize that there's no Jewish man coming to save you. You have to save yourself. It is time for you to realize that Europe cannot live without Africa. And what Africa have to offer. The reason why right now there's a scramble for Venezuela, it is because the West and the Caribbean have always been like the backyard for the Jews. Because they already set up the program from the school system, and since you're born from your mother's womb, they don't have a system there for you. This is why America could have just walk in Central America and South America and Caribbean, do as they please, and they get a bunch of puppet leaders to ride their backs. And it is these fake Jews behind all of that. You think I'm afraid to say that? I see a journalist from my island who doing certain work and thing, and I see start to get a little scared because he start to see, because he's doing good, okay, in terms of I'm making a little bit from them. But bro, I'm telling you, don't make that stop you from speaking. The power of speech that have been given to you, they call it the First Amendment, right? Man, you have to live by that. Doesn't matter what happens. You can't make money be your master. You the master money. Money is just a living, flowing currency. And it's inside of you. So all you're going to do is activate my creativity. When they try to take something from you, it's a blessing in disguise. Because you activate your creativity. You're going to think about, how can I do this? How can I do that? How can I solve more problems in the world without using social media? That's how people start to think, they need you more than you need them. Let me say this again. Those who run in social media, they want you to believe that you need them more than they need you. Do you realize that if 10 to 20 million people decide to just deliberately remove their YouTube channel, what will happen? They need you more than you need them. So don't afraid to speak the truth. The church need you more than you need the church. The religious system need you more than you need them. Don't make them fool you. The political system need you more than you need them. You don't need them. You just need to find yourself. Then you see all the fake Messiah. The pale boy they give you to worship as a melanated person. So my brother, my sister, that's really my message to you, okay? I want to thank everybody who comment. Someone says how to effectively imagine it so that it happens in reality. How to do it effectively is by a feeling. You see, most people could affirm things, but they can't feel it. As I tell you, I'm gonna my next channel go do another live, and I'm gonna talk to you about how to understand the book of lies, okay? And how to understand these lies that you've been told and the internet, okay? And you don't know it's a lie because you don't understand how a lie works. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you that, okay? You see, When you're telling a lie, you can't believe that you're lying. Neither can you feel like you're lying. Okay? So I'm gonna discuss more that on my next live there, on my next channel. Okay, Black Mad Guru. Check out that channel. Okay? For example, this channel I'm speaking to you on, before I start to expose Neville Goddard, okay, to tell you what kind of brotherhood, even though I didn't go into detail and tell you exactly the brotherhood, which I know, okay, and their family have the biggest business in my island, okay, and how they just keep passing it down from one to the next, one to the next. The same thing with, if anyone listening to me and you know anything about the fitness industry, okay, the Jews too, Joe Weeder and Ben Weeder and thing, and they pass it down all the time. That's why they don't want no Jamaicans to ever win the Mr. Olympia. No? That's why they destroy this guy named Sean Roden. And then this other guy who they didn't allow to win the Masters named Phil Claha. He live you see they live outside of the country. So you might think, oh, they're Americans. No, he's a Jamaican too. Okay. That's why this guy from Haiti never win. Renel Genvia. Back in the time when he's Night of the Champions, the Gishan when them win over him. That's why when you look to bodybuilding, most of these bodybuilders is a white woman, they wait. You understand this thing, you know, man. If I really break down this thing and show you this thing, you know, and how this thing is working thing, you know, you understand where it's coming from, you know. You will understand who was behind PDD, all of them, you know. You understand who own the record labels and so on, and why they own record labels, who own these different sporting bodies, and so why you think them man does invest in basketball teams and melanated people really need to wake up, you know. Why you think they invest in the NFL and NBA and all of these things? Why you think they invest in this kind of thing? Why you think they have World Cup? And right now Haiti can't even play a World Cup game in their own country. They're trying to say the country unstable when it's them make it unstable. You know, they behind this time making money off of you people. Most melanated people think they're free when they're still enslaved. Because they understand how the game work. You understand what I'm saying? They understand who running these countries. Because they think the man who was the prime minister and the man who was the president and so on is them who running. No, you're not seeing the dark. Why do you think they're hiding the Epstein thing? The Epstein file. You know, look, do you think these Jews easy? These so-called Jews? These people, the filth and scum of the earth. Me afraid to say that. Scum. These are the people who want to own the world, who want to control the whole world. These are the people who they want to get eternal life here. In this world they ain't real. They're not real. Something wrong with the conscience. So when you see all of these men come on, they song so nice and call themselves rabbi and so on rabbi. They song nice, eh? Loving people, eh? You see, most melanated people, you know, once these people's the head and you the tail, and once you use the barra and the lender, man, they will act more loving than anything else. But these people are vampires, sucking your energy, live off your energy. They're non-physical entities that they know that exist right here, that feed off of your faith, like your religion. Today, Sunday, so much people in church making a bunch melanated people making a monkey out of themselves because they wouldn't shut down the monkey mind. Someone say, you are right, brother. They are astral beings. Of course, extraterrestrial. I've met them already. Beings that feed on human energy. Yeah, energy vampires. I've had many experiences with them. I remember one time in my life growing up as a young man, for 3.5 years, every night, sometimes 3 times in a night, till I was losing weight. I was getting very, 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 very small. And when I really discover how to defeat them, yeah, that's why I could teach you what I'm teaching you, how I could tell you the Bible is not what you think. I was fighting a spiritual battle as if I was fighting a physical battle. That's why they get people caught up with the news with physical battle and showing you war tanks and boat and showing you the MV Gerald and all of them that talk about America, ghost ship and all the thing, stupidness, foolishness. The real battle are here. The real battle are here. Don't let nobody fool you. The real power here. There's a power there. About America, bunker buster, bomber. It's foolishness. Don't let them fool you. While the bombs and this supersonic or whatever name they want to give them and all the different names, where do you think they come from? From right here. So once they capture your mind, you understand the dumb, you don't keep you foolish. That's what we know to melanated people for so long. Okay? Somebody says that those who have had injection in your country, my brother, is there a if there's a high mortality rate again in your country where you live, if the most people ever die almost every day, I just be speaking, me and my girl, about people who we know and say, look how they just gone after they take that thing. And when you tell them they used to do, we was talking just what, I think it was yesterday was talking about the same lady who was saying, who saying we would die? Wait, you see 5 years we still alive, she done gone. I know mother and dad. I know I have a family where 2 sisters and a mother are all kind of a little bit obese and so on. You look, you know among the deaths happening in my country? With the people who taken who took that inoculation with blood clot and all these kind of things. So I'm glad you asked the question. The mortality rate triple in my country. Triple. And let me say this before I come to a close. Anytime of the big scam they make, I walk into a church, which I don't normally go to no church. I walk into a church. I felt led to. I didn't know why I was doing it. But the preacher for that church used to tell me, oh, you need to be saved. And then there was a member of the church too, who right now, he don't pass me straight without he come and fist me up and so on now. Okay? He used to tell me, you're not my brother. I used to say, bro, I'm your brother. Don't make them fool you. We are one. I'm a brother. No, you're my brother. You know what I did? I went walked straight into the church and I go and sit right next to he. And wait until they was having Bible study. And then I keep asking the pastor, I say, pastor, so you telling me those things that you're reading from the Bible, it wasn't for us a thought? It wasn't for us in someone's mind? It wasn't for us an idea? It wasn't for us to imagine? I keep saying, so pastor, the words are coming from your mouth. You're telling me it wasn't for us in your mind? You tell me a word is not the expression of a thought. You say, you come to disturb the church. You come to disturb the church. That we started trying to disturb the church. After I realized I couldn't, get anything across to him and so on, something moved inside of me to pull down all the posters he had post up in the church about COVID and sanitize. And bro, I ain't telling no lie. I went and I pulled down all of those posters. He said, you're going to call the police. I play with him, literally play with him. I said, no, please. I seen you. I have my printer right at home. I ain't live too far from you. Let me go and print them and bring them back for you. I did that. And I wait until the whole pandemic thing settled down. And around 2023 to 2024, around there. Okay, I think it could have been around 2023 or 2024. I was standing in my driveway and he passed me. And I said, hey, pastor, how you doing? Long time I see you. I said, pastor, you remember when I was telling you this thing about COVID, it was fake. And it was a pandemic and a scamdemic, and I pulled down all the posters there in church and he was going to call the police on me. You see what I was telling you? You know what the pastor didn't tell me? He always knew it was fake. So you see who fake? You see who really fake? He telling me he always knew it was fake. He lying. I know he lied. These days, he does hide from me. I don't see him again. And then the guy, because he met my church, stopped going to church. And the same guy used to say that I'm my brother. Now he meet me, fisting me up every minute. Because I told him the truth right in the church. I said to him, I said, right now I could go and buy a vehicle cash. That's why you're not my brother. You can't do that. Yeah, I tell him that. I tell you the truth. I told him that. You see, sometimes I have to tell people the honest truth. And I started to tell him things I could do that he can't do. That's why I'm not his brother. But when I become his brother, he could be able to do those things. And what? You have respect for me because I prove everything what I say. Okay? So you can say you know God, or you have the true Messiah, and you use the barra, the bank control you carry a bunch of yoke on your neck. I will always teach you till the day I die. The borrower is always a slave to the lender. And the rich will always rule over the poor. And all these people talking about Messiah and talking about this Jewish Messiah coming for them, most of them, they are poor, broke and miserable. And I was like them too. When I used to believe like them, so all I'm saying, your belief system, your mindset is what is messing you up. Get rid of that pale man that you're looking to save you. Okay, someone says a lot of people have died and a lot of people are dying. Of course. Yes, we came here to have this human experience and we're going to die. And that is not the end of us. Because a birth is a death and a death is a birth. But you don't want to give away your liberty because you're worshipping money. Because most people in my country, they took the inoculation or the vaccination because of loans and mortgages. Because of loans and mortgages. And who do you think was running these banks? Same set of people talking about. But now, they remove themselves from these banks now because something's about to happen. Long time I've been watching it and they allow the governments now to run the banks because they know what they're going to do. Okay? Long time. And then, in the big pandemic, they was building more and more resorts all around the islands to continue to enslave the people, give them mega wages while they call on a Jewish man to come and save them. So, my brother and my sisters, I'm here to speak the truth. And when you realize the truth, you'll be set free. Okay? You don't need to make $1 million a year to be free. You just need to find the innovative, creative power that is within you and learn how to exercise that power. Because the way how you go to bed and the way how you awake, that is what is shaping your entire life. Don't make them fool you. The only truth or reality there is on this planet is your consciousness, your awareness. And that is what they're after. That is what they're after. They're competing for your mind. That's what they do. They're competing for your mind. Someone said, why do you think, my brother, some people got the injection and some didn't? What is the reason? As I said before, most of the people who took it, they had mortgages and loans. And what will happen to the people who didn't get it? Okay, and what will happen to the world next? The people who didn't take the inoculation, it is because they know better. They know how to create their reality. Okay, and they understand how their mind works. Okay, and the question about what is going to happen next to the world, what you need to realize is this world is not real. It's illusionary. So there's nothing that could really happen that is not expected to happen. Death is inevitable. There's nothing more than that. That is inevitable. So you have to learn to accept it and embrace it. But you're not going to die a fool. That's just the difference. You're not going to die a fool. So the people who were signing to a contract whereby those who give them the inoculation will not be held responsible. Okay, many of them, they die fool. Okay, so when you die a fool, you're going to continue in that consciousness as a fool. In another life, you're still going to continue as a fool until you wake up. Okay? So, yeah. I think I would have said enough now. Okay, it's about 5 minutes before an hour. I really want to thank you all very much. I'm gonna go on the next and another live on my next channel. Okay, and there's where I'm gonna teach you concerning how the Bible is basically a book of lies, and you're gonna use the lies to discover the truth, and how to use the lies to discover the truth. That's what I'm gonna basically teach you. And once you understand it the way I'm gonna teach you, then you would realize what it's all about. Okay. I noticed, uh, babes, you did anything there? I noticed all of the comments deleted, messages deleted. Okay. And we didn't delete them. Okay. So, so I don't know. So let me ask before I close here, let me ask the people who commented if they themselves ever delete their comment. Huh? Well, I'm asking the person if it's them who delete their comment, okay? Because the all of the comments here, this one person, I don't know if it's a mistake they make or what, okay, but they delete all their comments, okay? So to me, it doesn't make sense. You're gonna make comments and you're gonna delete them, okay? If it is if it has been done um deliberately. Well, some people sometimes they think they have to protect certain things and so on. Yeah. Some people might think, well, okay, they had a job and this and that and that and so on. So maybe I don't want to jump to conclusion, but let me thank you all for tuning in. Okay, it's been a pleasure, and I'm gonna continue to reach out. I'm gonna continue to be on these lives, and I'm gonna continue to build my library and ask of you to donate a book or two to my library. If you are interested in doing that, I will send the list for you, the wish list, and you can just order the book on Amazon. A post box address is there. I have a US post box address there, and you can definitely donate, some books, okay? Because I really, really want to make sure that people in my country have access to books that they never had access to before, because the only library you find in my country is academic library, okay? For academic education. You will never find any library in my country with esoteric teachings, self-help, self-development, or any such. Okay, so if you can never assist in that way with a book, just a book. I don't need nothing else. Okay, book. Okay, I want to make sure before I leave this planet that I leave knowledge from every different angle, okay, for people, including the books that I put together too. Okay, I want to make sure these things are available to any and everyone. So, my brother, my sisters, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I'll definitely see you on my next channel, which I'm going to tune in now and do another live. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. I'm out.